I think there's kind of two sides to the poverty issue. One is mitigating the effects of poverty when it's in place. And that's where you talk about NC pre-K, you talk about childcare subsidies for parents so they can go get jobs, you talk about food stamps, you talk about all those things to make sure that kids living in poverty can get what they need in terms of sustenance, but also in terms of opportunity. But then there's the whole, well, let's figure out how to stop poverty. Let's tackle it on the front end. And then you're looking at policies like tax policy is a big one. So how regressive or progressive is our tax system? And specific tax policies like the EITC, I think, are a big one that we're going to be talking about next year, which is a tax credit for working families. And man, that's something that we really need to continue doing in North Carolina because it lifts more kids out of poverty than any other policy we have right now.
It's interesting that we're having this discussion in the wake of the comments. You mentioned Mitt Romney, of the comments when he was saying that 47% of Americans are basically victims and they're living off the government and they won't take personal responsibility because they're not paying federal income tax.
Right.
What was your reaction to that given just the discussion we just had?
Right. Well, the reason a lot of those people aren't paying federal, I say those people, the reason the 47% or so who don't pay federal income tax aren't paying federal income tax is because policymakers made the decision that it makes sense to try and get those folks out of poverty, that they shouldn't have to pay the federal income tax, which I think is a good thing. And two, they're paying a lot of other taxes out there that we're talking, sales tax, property tax, you name it. They're paying. And then, so I think it's just a total misunderstanding of who he's talking about. I mean, the 47% that he talks about are majority working people trying to make ends meet. And to say that they're victims and that they're just living on entitlements is wrong.